Jongsu glances at the floating hands, still clutching the corpses of the soldiers. He asks Somin to explain what's happening. Before she can respond, Sungu demands to know who he is and why he dares enter his domain. Somin realizes that the golem warrior doesn't recognize him, meaning he must be a warrior with no ties to the sword warrior. She knows an opportunity like this won't come again. She quickly explains everything, revealing that Sungu is merely a servant of the sword warrior and that he has taken control of Jeju Island. Before she can finish, Sungu begins squeezing her again, enraged that she dares ignore him to chat with another man. Jongsu interrupts with one last question. He demands to know if everything Somin said is true. Seunggu laughs, challenging him to say what he would do if it were. Jongsu replies with a single sentence: he will end his life. He shifts into a combat stance. Without hesitation, Seunggu readies himself for battle, hurling his stone hands and firing his laser eyes at the unknown foe. Jongsu remains unfazed. Twirling his spear, he effortlessly deflects every attack. Without delay, he lunges forward, slicing through both of Seunggu's arms with a single fluid motion. Seunggu is in shock. He cannot fathom how someone has overpowered him so easily. Jongsu follows up with a kick to his face, slamming him against the ground, his spear now aimed directly at him. The battle is over. Somin is in disbelief. This man has bested the golem warrior, who was powerful enough to annihilate an entire fleet. Jongsu asks if the sword warrior Somin mentioned refers to the warrior clad in white armor. Seunggu refuses to answer, and it costs him a leg. Jongsu calmly states that every time he stays silent, he will lose another limb. He repeats the question. This time, Seunggu confirms. Next, Jongsu demands to know the warrior's whereabouts, but Seunggu remains silent. He loses his other leg. Jongsu asks once more, but now, with nothing left to sacrifice, Seunggu can only plead for his life. Jongsu has no intention of sparing him, but if he cooperates, he will grant him a swift and painless death. Seunggu suddenly laughs, revealing that he has been speaking with his golems all along. Seunggu is swiftly carried away by two stone hands, while the floating eyes act as sentries. As he continues to bleed out, his past resurfaces in his mind. Just like Minsu, he was once summoned to another world with the mission of vanquishing the demon lord. Yet, upon returning to his own world, his parents cast him out, refusing to accept him as their son. To them, he was already dead. Even in the workplace, he held no value. He had lied about his age to get a job, but when they discovered the truth, they threatened to call the authorities and denied him any compensation for his labor. Snapping back to reality, he mutters that he doesn't want to die. When he looks at Jongsu, he sees that all of his golems have already been defeated. Jongsu prepares to hurl his spear, declaring that every warrior deserves to perish. Summoning the last of his strength, Seunggu unleashes his most powerful technique, Flowers of Prayer. All the remaining golems converge around him, forming a massive flower-like structure, a laser gathering at its core. Jongsu doesn't waver. He channels lightning into his spear, glowing runes igniting along his arm. He launches his weapon, calling forth God's Wrath. Flowers of Prayer and God's Wrath collide in a cataclysmic explosion, but Jongsu's attack is far too overwhelming. The spear tears through the flower-like structure and strikes true, piercing Seunggu's heart. At last, Seunggu collapses. The warrior who ravaged Jeju Island has been slain. We transition to the world where Seunggu was once summoned. The cleric who had journeyed with him gives final instructions for the construction of a statue in the golem warrior's honor. She and the rest of their former party feel that this is the least they can do to repay even a fraction of their debt to him. A crowd gathers before the statue, offering prayers for his happiness in the world he returned to, unaware of the grim fate that awaited him on the other side. After the golem warrior was defeated, his golems began to crumble all over the island. For the first time since the warrior's rampage, tranquility returned to Jeju Island. Finally liberated, the people started celebrating, unaware of Jongsu observing them from a distance. He noticed a family crying as they finally reunited, stirring painful memories of what he had lost. He softly muttered that he missed the feeling of having a safe place to return to. Suddenly, he heard something rustling in the bushes and instinctively assumed a defensive stance, pointing his spear at the source of the noise. Somin urged him to stop and reminded him that she was the girl from the beach. She asked why he was hiding, certain that everyone would be thrilled to meet the person who had vanquished the golem warrior. He dismissed her words, saying there was nothing remarkable about a warrior defeating another warrior and that his presence would only instill fear. As he turned to leave, he added that he didn't care about their well-being. Somin countered, saying he was considerate for even thinking about how they might feel. Unfazed, Jongsu told her she could believe whatever she wanted. Somin blocked his path, demanding to know if he was serious about eliminating all the warriors. He affirmed that the warrior in white armor was his true target and that anyone aligned with him would share the same fate. Somin hesitated before speaking again, asking if revenge was his sole motivation. Jongsu confirmed. She then pleaded with him to take her along, insisting that she too sought vengeance. Admitting she would be a hindrance, she assured him she possessed valuable information. During her journey from Seoul to Jeju, she had seen where the warriors were stationed. She knew which one ruled over which region and had insight into their abilities. She pointed out that traveling from the island to Seoul without provisions or shelter was unrealistic. If he wanted transportation, sustenance, and a place to rest, he would need someone capable of communicating with civilians. She offered to be his guide. Jongsu interrupted, questioning her motives. If she remained on the island, she would be safe and had the chance to live comfortably. She responded with a bitter smile. She admitted she was weak. Clutching a photograph of her family, she confessed that ever since she lost them, anger toward the warriors was all she had felt. She lacked the strength to fight them herself, but if Jongsu could accomplish it, even indirectly, she would achieve her revenge. Jongsu finally relented. She could accompany him, but only if she was willing to be used or abandoned. And so, the two embarked on their journey to Seoul. Inside an abandoned warehouse, Jongsu sharpened his spear while Somin outlined their options. They could either face a stronger warrior nearby or pursue a weaker one much farther away. Jongsu chooses the one that will be faster to defeat. Their next target was decided, the Sea Dragon Warrior. She was the dominant force at sea, capable of obliterating entire fleets effortlessly. Her monstrous companion, a colossal sea dragon, was feared as a living nuclear weapon. The pair were ruthless killers, responsible for the deaths of most evacuees attempting to reach Jeju Island. Somin's voice trembled as she spoke of the warrior. Tears welled in her eyes as she recalled how the Sea Dragon Warrior had taken her mother from her. Jongsu remained indifferent to her grief. He stated that he would need a boat. Somin wiped her tears and nodded. She knew the right people. Following the Golem Warrior's downfall, the Navy had managed to recover several warships. The surviving officers were tending to their injuries, but they were prepared to return to battle. Sometime later, Jongsu and Somin arrived at the shore, where a group of officers stood ready for departure. Their captain stepped forward, assuring them that in honor of their fallen comrades, they would take them safely to the mainland. In the waters of South Korea, the sea grew restless. Whirlpools churned violently, disturbing the waves. At the heart of the largest vortex, a lone warrior rested beside her monstrous companion. The sea dragon stirred, sensing a distant presence. She gently patted its head, murmuring a reassurance. Those intruders would never reach the mainland. Back on Jeju Island, a soldier is digging graves for his fallen comrades. While pausing for a break, the captain approaches, informing him that they will set sail in 2 hours. The soldier rises to his feet, questioning whether they are truly making the right decision. They still don't know if the warrior who defeated the Golem Warrior is an ally or an enemy. They also have no certainty that he will be able to overcome the Sea Dragon Warrior, let alone stand a chance against Minsu Kim if they reach the mainland. Gazing at his deceased comrades, he wonders aloud why he should willingly return to that nightmare. Stoically, the captain states that the only undeniable fact is that Jongsu managed to slay the Golem Warrior and that his goal is to eliminate the remaining ones. He adds that more than 30 officers have perished, and if he ever reunites with them, he wants to tell them that he died after finding a way to save everyone. He wants to say that he gave his life protecting those they fought for, to give meaning to their sacrifices. If by any chance, Jongsu proves stronger than Minsu Kim, then their journey and sacrifice would have been a step towards South Korea's liberation. The captain then asks if that reason is enough to make him reconsider. 1 hour has passed since their departure. Jongsu and Somin are inside the ship, discussing the Sea Dragon Warrior. She shows him a rather peculiar drawing of the warrior and the beast she commands. Jongsu, trying to make sense of the sketch, asks if his opponent is supposed to be a worm and a stick figure. She shouts at him for mocking her, insisting that she did her best despite her lack of drawing skills. Somin explains that they are technically two warriors fighting as one, a feature that distinguishes them from the others. Jongsu attempts to grasp her point, guessing that both can attack independently. Somin corrects him. According to what she witnessed, the warrior always remains on the creature's head, and the monster doesn't move until receiving an order. The female warrior acts as the brain, while the sea dragon serves as the muscle. Jongsu then asks how they typically engage their enemies. She explains that the dragon breathes fire from its mouth or attacks at close range, while the woman deflects any incoming assaults. Jongsu concludes that they function like a spear and a shield, blending offense and defense to form an exceptionally formidable adversary. Suddenly, the ship's alarms blare. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.